It was a cold evening in the city. People rushed through the underground subway station, hurrying to catch their trains. The air smelled of metal and dust. Lights flickered above. Shoes clicked across the floor. No one had time to stop. No one had time to care, but in the corner of that noisy subway, two small girls stood barefoot on the cold concrete floor. They were twins, Lena and Zara, just 10 years old. Their clothes were dirty and full of holes. Their hair was messy. Their hands were freezing. But still, they danced. They moved together like a mirror, slowly swaying to the sound of a small Bluetooth speaker that played soft music. Their feet moved carefully. Their hands made graceful shapes in the air. But their eyes looked tired, hungry, and sad. In front of them was a small plastic container, a tip jar. Inside it, there were only a few coins, nothing more. People passed by and didn't even look at them. Some stared and whispered to each other. Others laughed. A group of teenage boys threw an empty bottle at them and walked away, mocking their dance. But Lena and Zara kept dancing. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't eat tonight. From behind a pillar, a subway security guard watched them. He had seen them before. He didn't like kids blocking the walkway. He walked toward them holding a whistle. "Hey, you two again?" the guard shouted. "You can't stay here. This is not a place for whatever this is." Zara stepped back, scared. Lena grabbed her hand tightly. "Please, sir," Lena said in a soft voice. "We just need a little money. We're not hurting anyone." Before the guard could answer, something unexpected happened. A man in a black suit and shiny leather shoes walked into the scene. He had just come down the escalator and stopped near the girls. He was tall, serious-looking, and clean. People moved out of his way. His coat looked expensive. His watch sparkled under the flickering lights. The guard noticed him and straightened up immediately. "Mr. Royce," the guard said, surprised. I didn't see you there." The man raised his hand slightly, signaling the guard to stop talking. He looked at the twin girls. His eyes didn't move. He didn't blink. For a few long seconds, there was complete silence in that part of the subway. Mr. Royce kept staring. His face was unreadable. The girls stood still, nervous. Their speaker had stopped playing. Then something strange happened. A single tear rolled down Mr. Royce's cheek. He didn't wipe it. He didn't speak. Zara looked at him with wide eyes. "Why is he crying?" she whispered to Lena. Lena didn't answer. She just watched him back. Mr. Royce slowly took a step forward. He opened his wallet and placed a $100 bill into the small tip jar. Then he looked up again. His voice was low, almost like a whisper. "How long have you been dancing here?" he asked. Lena looked at Zara, then answered carefully. "Only a few weeks, sir." "And your parents?" he asked. Zara looked down. Lena hesitated, then said softly, "They're gone." Mr. Royce nodded slowly as if he had already guessed. He didn't ask more. He stood there for a moment longer, staring at the girls, his face full of deep emotion. The guard stepped forward nervously. "Sir, should I ask them to leave?" Mr. Royce looked at him with calm eyes. "No," he said. "Let them be." He turned and began to walk away, but he kept looking back. Something in him had changed. Something was waking up. Inside him. Something from a long time ago. A pain he thought he had buried. As he reached the top of the stairs, he looked down one last time. The girls had started dancing again, but this time with a little more energy, a little more hope. And, Mr. Royce. He kept walking, but he couldn't stop thinking about them. Mr. Royce sat alone in his large glass-walled apartment that night. It was quiet, too quiet. Outside, the city lights flickered. Cars moved like glowing ants below. But inside, everything felt still. He sat on his expensive leather couch, holding a glass of untouched wine. His mind wasn't on the city or the luxury around him. His thoughts were stuck in the subway, with the two little girls who had danced for coins. He couldn't forget their eyes, those tired, innocent eyes. He couldn't forget how Zara's hands trembled as she held her sister. How Lena had stood bravely, trying not to cry. Why couldn't he stop thinking about them? Mr. Royce placed the wine glass down and walked to the fireplace. Above it hung a photo, a young girl about the same age as Lena and Zara. She was smiling. In the photo, holding a teddy bear. Her hair was tied in 2 ponytails. That girl was his daughter, Amelia. She had died many years ago in a car accident. Mr. Royce had never been the same after that. He buried himself in work, became cold, built his farming business into a fortune, but he had stopped feeling until now. Those girls in the subway, they reminded him of Amelia. He couldn't just forget them. The next morning, Mr. Royce woke up early, something he hadn't done in years without an alarm. He didn't wear his usual business suit. Instead, he put on a warm coat and soft shoes. He skipped breakfast. No phone calls, no meetings, no driver. He went back to the subway station. It was still early. People walked fast, drinking coffee, looking at their phones. He stood near the same corner where he had seen the girls the night before. But they weren't there. He waited. Minutes passed, then an hour. Still no sign of them. He asked the nearby coffee seller, "Have you seen 2 little girls here?" Twins, about 10 years old. "They were dancing last night." The man shook his head. "I've seen a lot of kids here, sir. Sorry." Mr. Royce walked to the station manager's office. He showed a photo he had drawn of the girls from memory. "Please," he said, "have your cameras seen them?" The man looked at the sketch. "These girls?" "Yeah, I've seen them around. They come in late evenings. Sometimes they sleep behind the vents where it's warmer." Mr. Royce's eyes widened. "Sleep? Here?" The man nodded. "We try to move them along, but they always come back. No parents, no help." That evening, Mr. Royce returned again, this time with 2 hot meals, blankets, and a flashlight. He waited patiently near the same pillar. And finally, around 7 p.m., Lena and Zara arrived. They were slower today. Lena was limping a little. Zara looked pale, but they set down their speaker and started to dance again. Mr. Royce stepped forward gently. The girls saw him and froze. Zara held her sister's hand tightly. "It's him again," she whispered. Mr. Royce gave a soft smile and held up a paper bag. "I brought food," he said. "May I sit with you?" The girls didn't move. He placed the bag on the ground and stepped back. Lena walked forward slowly, opened the bag. Her eyes lit up. Hot chicken, rice, fruit, and water. Tears filled her eyes. "For us?" Mr. Royce nodded. "Yes, and there's more if you want." Zara sat beside her sister and began to eat quietly. Mr. Royce sat on the cold floor nearby. He didn't speak. He just watched them, like a father watching over his children. After they ate, he asked gently, "Where do you go after this?" Lena looked away. "We stay here, behind the vents. It's warm there." Mr. Royce's heart broke. "Do you go to school?" "No," Zara said. "Not since Mom and Dad went away." "What happened to them?" he asked softly. Lena's lips trembled. "There was a fire, our house burned down, they didn't make it." Mr. Royce closed his eyes. He could feel his daughter's face in his mind again. "I'm sorry," he said. "I really am." The girls nodded slowly. They were used to people not caring. But this man, he felt different. As the night grew colder, Mr. Royce stood up. "Will you come with me tomorrow?" he asked. "Just for one day. I want to show you something." Lena hesitated. "Why?" He smiled. "Because I think you deserve more than dancing in the dark." The sun had just started to rise when Mr. Royce's black SUV pulled up to the old iron gate of his countryside farm. Inside the car, Lena and Zara sat quietly. They were both wearing clean coats now, gifts from Mr. Royce the night before. It was the first time in weeks they had slept on a real bed, even if it was just a small guest room in Mr. Royce's apartment. Still, it felt like a dream. Now, as the gate slowly opened, the girls looked out the window in shock. The land stretched far and wide, golden fields, fresh air, giant red barns. Chickens clucked, horses galloped in the distance. Zara whispered, "Is this real?" Lena held her hand. "I think it is," Mr. Royce smiled as he drove in. "This is my home," he said gently, "and today it's yours too." They reached the main farmhouse, a warm white house with flowers by the windows and rocking chairs on the porch. As the girls stepped out, a few farm workers looked up from their chores. One of them, Mrs. Elma, an older woman with sharp eyes, noticed the girls' worn shoes and rough hair. She whispered to another worker, "Who are those kids?" "Street dancers?" Another worker chuckled. "Looks like Mr. Royce brought home charity cases." Mr. Royce heard it, but didn't respond. Not yet. He gently placed his hand on Zara's shoulder. "Don't worry about them," he whispered. He guided them inside the house. The girls gasped as they entered the warm living room. A fire crackled in the stone fireplace. A soft couch with blankets waited for them. On the wall hung paintings, one of them showing a young girl with ponytails, smiling while holding a basket of apples. "That's Amelia," Mr. Royce said quietly. "My daughter. She passed away a long time ago." The girls nodded slowly. "You both remind me of her." He led them into the kitchen, where a breakfast feast was laid out. Fresh bread, jam, fruit, eggs, and milk. "No more cold coins, no more Subway," he said softly. "You eat first, then I'll show you something." After breakfast, the girls followed him to the barn behind the house. The workers stared again as they passed. Some looked curious, others annoyed. Inside the barn, Mr. Royce opened a heavy door. It revealed a wide, clean space with wooden floors and mirrors. In the center was an old, dusty music speaker. Zara's eyes widened. "This is," Mr. Royce nodded, "a dance room. It used to be Amelia's. She loved dancing too." He picked up a remote and pressed play. Soft music began to play. Lena and Zara looked at each other, unsure. He smiled and stepped back. "Go on," he said gently. "This is your space now." Zara took a deep breath. Lena nodded. Then, slowly, gracefully, they began to move. Not like before. This time, they weren't dancing for coins. They danced like children set free. Their bare feet glided across the floor. Their hands flew through the air. Even Mr. Royce found himself clapping softly. But outside the barn door, Mrs. Elma stood watching. She frowned. "Those kids don't belong here," she muttered. "What is Mr. Royce thinking?" That afternoon, Mr. Royce called a meeting with his workers. Everyone gathered outside the farmhouse. Mrs. Elma crossed her arms, waiting to speak first. Before she could say anything, Mr. Royce held up his hand. "I know you've all seen the girls," he began. "Lena and Zara. They are not pests. They are not beggars. They are human beings, and they are staying here." Whispers rose. Some people looked surprised, others confused. "They've lost everything," he said. "And if that doesn't move you, then maybe you don't belong here." A heavy silence followed. Mrs. Elma finally spoke. "But sir, we're not a charity." "No," Mr. Royce said firmly. "We're not, but we're a family. And families take care of those who are lost." He turned to the girls. "You two, from today forward, you'll dance, learn, eat, and live here. You'll have a bed, books, music, and a future." The girls looked at each other, unsure if it was real. Then they ran to Mr. Royce and hugged him tightly. It had been 3 days since the twin sisters, Lena and Zara, arrived at the farmhouse. Each morning, they woke up to the smell of bread baking and the sound of birds outside the window. Not subway trains or angry footsteps. They had warm beds, clean clothes, hot meals, and every afternoon they practiced dancing in the old barn. Mr. Royce had even brought in a music teacher named Miss Talia, a kind young woman who once trained Amelia, his late daughter. Miss Talia was patient with the girls. "You don't need to be perfect," she'd say. "Just dance from the heart." And they did. But not everyone on the farm felt the same. Jealous eyes. One evening, Mrs. Elma, the senior housekeeper, stood by the kitchen door watching the girls laugh with Miss Talia and Mr. Royce. Her hands were clenched around a dish towel. "I've worked for Mr. Royce for 17 years, she muttered to the cook beside her. "Now 2 street kids come in and take over?" The cook didn't reply. Later that night, Mrs. Elma made a quiet phone call. "They're getting too close to him," she whispered. "If this continues, he'll give them everything." A voice on the other end replied sharply, "Then stop it. Do what you must." A dark night. That night, Lena and Zara slept peacefully in their guest room. But outside, the wind howled, and someone moved through the shadows. A figure slipped into the barn with a flashlight. They walked to the power box. With a quiet click, they cut the electricity. Then they poured water near the wires and scattered broken glass across the floor. Before leaving, the person whispered, "Let's see how well you dance now." The rehearsal turns dangerous. The next day, Mr. Royce had invited a journalist and a local dance instructor to come watch the girls practice. If they liked what they saw, he planned to enroll the twins in a real dance academy. Lena and Zara were excited, but nervous. "We have to do our best today," Zara said, tying her hair with a ribbon Miss Talia gave her. But as soon as they stepped into the barn and the music started, the lights flickered and went out. Zara tripped and nearly hit the floor. Lena screamed as her foot slid across something sharp, a broken glass shard. Miss Talia ran to her. "You're bleeding." The journalist stood up, confused. "What happened here?" asked Mr. Royce, his voice sharp. The discovery Mr. Royce went straight to the power box and found it tampered with. His face went pale, then angry. He turned to the workers and shouted, "Who touched this box?" Silence. Then, the cook stepped forward slowly. "I saw Mrs. Elma near the barn last night," she whispered. Gasps filled the air. Mr. Royce turned to the house. "Bring her here." The confrontation. Minutes later, Mrs. Elma stood in front of him, arms crossed. "I did what had to be done," she said coldly. "They don't belong here." Mr. Royce stepped forward, eyes full of fire. "You put a child in danger." "You're letting your grief cloud your mind," she snapped. "They're not Amelia, they never will be." "No," he said calmly, "but they're alive, and they need me." He paused. "And I need them." The crowd went silent. Then Mr. Royce turned to his head manager. "Mrs. Elma no longer works here. She leaves tonight." Mrs. Elma's eyes widened. "You'd fire me for them?" "Yes," he said, "because I still believe in what's right." The bond grows deeper that night. Mr. Royce sat by Lena's bedside, placing fresh bandages on her foot. "I'm sorry someone tried to hurt you," he said. Lena looked up. "Why do you care so much?" He swallowed hard. "Because once I lost someone I couldn't protect." "But you can protect us now," Zara said from the other bed. He nodded slowly. "Yes, and I will." It was a quiet morning on the farm. The sun rose gently behind the trees, casting golden light over the fields. Birds sang, and the wind moved through the tall grass. Inside the farmhouse, things were finally peaceful again after Mrs. Elma's departure. Lena and Zara were sitting at the kitchen table, enjoying warm pancakes. Mr. Royce sat with them, sipping tea and smiling gently. But peace doesn't always. Last, a knock came at the door. A mysterious delivery. A farmhand opened the door. A delivery man stood outside holding a brown envelope. "For Mr. Royce," he said. The envelope had no return address, just Mr. Royce's name written in a shaky hand. The paper felt old. Mr. Royce took it carefully. Something about it felt heavy. He opened it in front of the girls. Inside was a single sheet of paper and a photo. He stared at it. His face turned pale. Zara noticed. "What's wrong, Mr. Royce?" But he didn't answer. Instead, he slowly read the letter aloud. "The truth revealed. To whoever has my daughters. If you found Lena and Zara, please take care of them. I can't anymore. We were running. He was going to find us. Hurt them, like he hurt me. Please tell them. Mommy loves them. Always." Below the letter was a smudged signature, Eliza Walker. The photo was of a woman with two baby girls in her arms, smiling sadly. Lena gasped. That's Mom. Zara grabbed the picture. It is. That's her necklace. I remember it. The girls were crying. Mr. Royce's hands shook. This wasn't just a sad letter. It was a warning. The past comes, chasing. Mr. Royce stood up and walked to the window. He remembered the name. Eliza Walker. Years ago, her photo had been in the newspaper. She was missing. Said to have disappeared with her children while trying to escape her violent husband. A man with a long record of crime. Now Mr. Royce whispered, if this letter is real, then their father might still be looking for them. The air in the room turned cold. He looked at the girls, scared, confused, clutching the photo of their mother. And then he knew. He had to protect them. Security tightens. That same day, Mr. Royce called his team. Lock the gates. No one gets in or out unless I say so. He added 2 security guards at the entrance of the farm. Lena and Zara were confused. Why is everything changing again? Lena asked quietly. Mr. Royce kneeled down to them. Because someone dangerous might be looking for you. But don't worry. You're safe now. Zara nodded slowly. You promise? He held her hand gently. With all my heart. A shadow returns that night. A black car parked far from the farmhouse. Inside it, a man watched the lights from a distance. He held a photo in his hand. The same photo Mr. Royce had. Eliza and the twins. He spoke to himself, voice cold and bitter. So, this is where you're hiding my girls. He stepped out of the car and lit a cigarette. A deep scar ran across his jaw. He looked up at the farmhouse. Time to take back what's mine. It was a quiet afternoon on the farm. The sun shone softly, and the girls were helping in the garden. Mr. Royce watched them from a distance, still thinking about the letter from their mother. His heart felt heavy. He kept looking toward the gates, as if something deep inside was warning him. Then, it happened. A black car rolled slowly up the dirt road. It stopped just outside the main gate. A tall man in dark clothes stepped out. He wore a baseball cap low over his eyes. His face looked rough. His boots were dusty. But something in his smile didn't feel right. I'm their uncle. One of the new guards walked up to the gate. The man didn't even blink. I'm here to see my nieces, Lena and Zara, the stranger said calmly. The guard raised an eyebrow. Who are you? The man gave a small laugh. I'm their uncle, James Walker. Their mother was my sister. He pulled out a wrinkled piece of paper, some old photo of Eliza and the twins. See, I have proof. The guard looked at the photo, then looked closer at the man. His eyes narrowed. Something wasn't right. This man looked too calm, too rehearsed. A warning call. The guard quickly excused himself. He rushed to the house and called Mr. Royce. There's a man at the gate, sir. Claims he's their uncle. Royce's heart skipped a beat. What does he look like? Tall, rough face, scar on the jaw. Says his name is James Walker. Silence. Then Royce's voice came sharp and low. Keep him there. Don't let him in. I'm coming. Face to face, Mr. Royce arrived at the gate in minutes. He stepped out, cool and composed. The stranger looked at him and smiled. You must be the one hiding them. Mr. Royce didn't smile back. And you must be the one who hurt their mother. The man's face changed. His eyes grew cold. I just want my girls back, he said. They're not your property, Mr. Royce replied. They're children, and you're not going anywhere near them. For a moment, the two men stood silently. The air between them felt like fire. Then the man chuckled darkly. You think you can stop me? The girls watch, from afar, from a window upstairs. Lena and Zara peeked out. They couldn't hear the words, but they saw the man. Zara whispered, He looks scary. Lena trembled. I think I've seen him in a dream, or maybe a nightmare. Mr. Royce turned to the guards. Escort him off the property, and make sure he doesn't return. Guards moved forward. The man didn't fight. He just grinned. This isn't over, he whispered. Then he walked back to his car and slowly drove off. Darkness falls. Again that night, the farm felt different. The lights were left on. The guards stayed closer. The doors were double locked. Royce sat by the fireplace holding the photo of the girl's mother in one hand and his phone in the other. He made a call. "This is Royce. I need a private investigator. Tonight." He looked out the window into the dark night. If that man is who I think he is, the girls are in danger. The girls have questions. Lena and Zara couldn't sleep. They quietly walked downstairs and sat beside Mr. Royce. "Was that man really our uncle?" Lena asked. Mr. Royce looked at them gently. "No. I believe he was your father." The girls froze. Zara whispered, "But he's the one Mommy was running from?" Mr. Royce nodded. The girls held each other tight. "Are we safe?" Lena asked. Mr. Royce looked into their scared eyes and promised, "I will protect you, no matter what." But deep down, he knew the storm wasn't over. It had only just begun. A cool wind moved through the farm the next morning. The sky was gray, and the birds were quiet. Inside the house, Mr. Royce was pacing back and forth, checking his phone. The twins, Lena and Zara, were still sleeping upstairs, peaceful, unaware of what was coming. Then, the doorbell rang. Mr. Royce opened the door to find a woman in a leather coat, short hair and sharp eyes. She carried a black folder. "I'm Detective Hale," she said. "Private investigator. You called me." The truth about the girls' past. They sat in the living room. Hale opened the folder and spread out a few papers. "These are from public records. I tracked Eliza's background, the girls' school records, and police reports." Mr. Royce leaned in. She had been running from a man named Carter Blake. Hale said, "He's not the uncle, he's their father." Royce's face tightened. "So it was him at the gate?" Hale nodded. "He has a long record. Theft, assault, threats. Eliza left him after he hurt her, badly. She went into hiding and changed the girls' last names." Royce closed his eyes. No wonder she'd written, "If anything happens to me, keep them safe." "Where are the girls?" Suddenly one of the housekeepers rushed in. "Sir, the girls are gone." Mr. Royce jumped up. "What do you mean, gone?" "I checked their room. The window is open. The beds are empty." For a second, the room went completely silent. Then Royce's voice rose with panic. "Check the whole farm. Every field, every room." A chilling discovery. The guards ran in all directions. Detective Hale looked outside. Tire marks were fresh near the back gate. She followed the trail down a muddy path and found something that made her heart stop. A pink ribbon, torn, caught in a bush. It was Zara's. She radioed to the main house. They didn't run away. Someone took them. The chase begins. Royce called the police, then his private security team. Roads were closed. Cameras in nearby towns were checked. One blurry photo showed a black van heading east, and inside, two small shapes, Zara and Lena. Royce stood at the edge of the road, fists clenched. His voice was calm but full of rage. "Get them back, whatever it takes." A message from the kidnapper. Hours later, a phone rang. It wasn't Mr. Royce's phone, it was one of the twins' toy phones, hidden in a box. Someone had placed a note inside. "You took what was mine. Now I take what's yours. Come alone if you want to see them again." CB. Mr. Royce stared at the note. So it was Carter Blake, the man who once hurt their mother, now had their daughters. Royce's decision. Mr. Royce stood quietly by the fireplace. Everyone waited for his orders. He turned to Detective Hale. "I know what I have to do." "Sir," she warned, "this man is dangerous." Royce looked her in the eye. "I've faced boardrooms, billion-dollar deals, and legal wars. But none of that matters now." He picked up the note. "This is personal, and I won't let those girls grow up in fear." One last look before leaving, Royce walked into the girls' room. Their small shoes were by the bed. Their drawings were still on the walls. He picked up one of the sketches. It was a picture of all three of them, Lena, Zara, and Mr. Royce, holding hands under a tree. Tears filled his eyes. "I'm coming," he whispered.